A Brief History of 7 Killings, Disc 20.
John K. Christ, what a sloppy motherfucker. Took him out as soon as he stepped through the door. Well, knocked him out. Maybe he should have switched the light on as soon as he came in. Now I have him sitting on his own stool like a school dunce, hands tied behind his back. I thought about roughing him up a little, but I don't know. Maybe it was because he just stepped in, or maybe I just wanted to... I don't know. You weeper? I say. Who the fuck is you? He says. I screwed the silencer back on. Oh, that is who you be. You look like somebody me know. Me know you? Nope. You sure? Me no forget people. Once a man enter the room, me mark him face, just in case him... Something funny? Just in case him have a gun. What kind of gun that? 9mm. Pussy hole gun. That me come to? Gon get killed with a batty man gun? Batty man? Some for business. What? Why don't you stop talking? Then why didn't you gag me if you didn't want me to talk? I mean, I could bawl out for murder. Go ahead, Kitty Genovese. Who dat? Never mind. Something you want me to tell you, don't it? I pull up a chair in front of him. Smoke? I said. I man rather lick the collie weed, but put a cigarette in my mouth, nah? I'm gonna take that as a yes. I stick a cig in my mouth, another in his, and light them both. You must be the first white enforcer me ever see. And me never see you around them place. Though me know me see ya. Maybe you come to Jamaica as a tourist. Nope. Me know everybody who work for Griselda, and me know you. How did you know Griselda sent me? Subtract those with a desire from those who have means. Ha! What's the skinny on you and Griselda? That Sam-face stinking cunt mad woman bitch. She know who she a fuck with? Long time Jamaica send me to set up the distribution link from Colombia to Miami. I couldn't stand working with the fucking bitch. But I should have known that when I told her to shove her baby foot up her cunt that she would take it personally. Bitch think she could slap me because shipment was late just one time. When word get out that she start bite hand that feed her. Them go and string her up by her blood clot clit, you hear me? She go and... But hold on. She don't fuck with no white man. She don't trust none of them. How come she dealing with you? He coughs and I pluck out the cig. When he stops and takes 2 deep breaths, I stick the cig back into the side of his mouth like a movie gangster. My mind just don't cater for that there bitch, you know. Huh? Griselda! Me no understand how she move. If it wasn't for me, she would have to deal with Cubans still. I mean, she know what she going bring on herself killing me. What she think going happen to her when Josie Wales hear this? Fucking woman. And who you again? Nobody. Somebody doing a favor. You can't be a nobody and somebody at the same time. Maybe you is some nobody, haha. What kind of name is Weeper? Better than 4 eyes? Funny. Want another cig? No, them fucking sticks gon' kill you. That bitch, how much they paying you? Plenty. Me'll double it. You want coke? Me can give you 2 house full of this. You live like Elvis for the next 10 years. You want pussy? Me can get you any pussy you want in New York, even pussy that don't turn pussy yet. Or maybe is batty you want. Batty? Anus, rectum, shithole. Oh, I see. Me no care what people want to do. Plenty of chuck badness then spread for man to fuck out the batty. People do what people do. Me just want the money. Hear this. A man who run one PNP district, this man they call Funny Boy, have man suck him cock and eat out him batty hole all the time. Then him shoot him dead right after. Say what? Dat me say. Damn waste of a mouth if one of them eats him out so good, though. You laugh, but that's some serious shit right there. How old you be? Old enough. You a pickney. You just a start. This business here. Me tied up for you to kill me. This don't make no sense. And don't think they go and make you leave this house alive after the killing must come to clean up and you go and stink like last week garbage. I'll live. You dead as soon as you pull the trigger. What's she paying you? Me will double it, triple it, you know. See, that's the problem. You could double, triple, quadruple, quintuple. The figure is still the same. What? She not pay you nothing? You're doing this for free. You is a sicker cunt than that ugly bitch. The whole of unu crazy. Crazy, crazy. Me kill enough people and not a single one was in business. You people get too used to having endless supply of bullet. In Jamdown, Jamaica, you make them bullet count because shipment don't always come on time. Tell me this, eh? Who go and do the transshipment now that she rubbing out the Jamaican connection? She thinks she go and work with them fucking Cubans again? She tried to kill 6 of them in some club 2 weeks ago. You know about that? Of course me know about that. And you doing this for free. What them have pon you? You catch her eating out pussy. Griselda's a dyke? Johnny Cash wear black? She chum up to them go-go girl all the time. And then when she get tired of them, one bullet, thank you, mom. She and Funny Boy should form a singing group. That's some funny shit. She one crazy cunt, you know. But she never let that get in the way of making bills before. That's 'cause it's not her hit. What? She just setting it up, buddy. How you know that? You're the same one who just said that a hit from her made no sense. Seems somebody is covering up their tracks to get to you. No, sir. Fuckery you a talk. Nobody from Jamdown behind this. Even if it's so it go, them wouldn't go about it like this. You could say somebody made her an offer that she couldn't refuse. Nothing personal. I hear she has nothing but kind words to say about you. She can go fuck herself with a Pepsi bottle. Not really. It's probably not my business somebody made her an offer she couldn't refuse. Get it? The Godfather? No? You're crushing my groove, Pops. So is money. Fucking Jamaicans. You guys not big on irony, huh? Is the money or no? Not the money. For her or me. I just got caught in the wrong fucking place at the wrong fucking time. You just ended up with the wrong fucking enemy. Bigger than she? Boss in Colombia? Them don't need me dead. They're more about business than she. Jose contact them first years ago, not she. Guess they're bigger than Colombia too. That only leave God. He's God, don't it? Ha! Which angel you be? Gabriel? Michael? Maybe me should have put some lamb blood pon me door. Ha ha! Wished somebody warned me about this fucking city. What's so bad about New York? Living the dream here, brethren. Lived. Pussy hole. We both laugh. Can't wait to jet from this fucking city, I say. Who you running back to? Huh? Why'd you ask that? Pum-pum must be tight like fuck. Pum-pum? Pussy! Oh, I guess you could say that. So, you love the bitch. What? Shit, what a fucking question. Look like yes. You're stalling. Tell me about the girl. No. What me go and do? Tell National Enquirer? You're stalling. Tell you before. Me not the only man in here on borrowed time. Shut up, you. She cute? No. You like them homely? No. So, she a sweet little thing then. What's she name? Rocky. Thomas Allen Bernstein, but I call him Rocky. Can you shut up now? Oh. Yeah, and I don't need your fucking shit. So, him cute? What the fuck? Well, if you go and be a batty man, at least get the best batty. Batty? Oh, right, you told me. Ha! He does have a cute batty, come to think of it. Batty is the first thing you check for. Maybe you really is Jamaican. His batty is cute. And his face. Dimples, the boy's got dimples. He always wants to shave, but I wish he wouldn't at all. And his hands, they look like he's tough, but he's never put in a hard day's work in his life. But he laughs like a fucking weasel, and he snores, and all right, man. Too much of the batty boy business. Good stall, though. Shame. You're the first man in this fucking city worth talking to. I get up and go behind him. I push the gun through the hair until it touches his skull. Anybody was here when you let yourself in? Anybody was in here? No? Oh, good. I'm about to pull the trigger. Wait! Just wait. How una fit do me like that? Me no get last request? Give me a hit, nah? Just one last hit. Have a bag right there behind the TV stand that already cut. One last one. At least make me no care if I get shot or not. Fuck, man, I gotta get out of this city. You can't cut one fucking bag open and give a man a hit. Give a man a hit, nah, man. Give me a hit. That how you Jamaicans roll? In Chicago, nobody uses and deals, at least not their own supply. Always the beginning or the end when that happens. That's why you new whiteys always look so sorry all the time. Uno not having no fun. You not going to tell me who take out contract pon me if it's not she? Don't know, buddy. You gonna sniff that? You cut me a line. 2 hands kinda occupied if you didn't notice. I find the bag, actually a sack of bags between the TV stand and the wall. I cut one open with a Swiss Army knife and throw the pack down. Cocaine spills out. Didn't make a line, no boss, he says. I scoop out some cocaine with 2 fingers and shape the line the size of a cigar on the desk. You have some elephant round here you want to kill or something? That should get you high. That will get all the Flatbush high. I separate a new line the size of a match. This gon' be hard with my hand them tie. Improvise. The Jamaican bends down on the desk and lean his head left, trying to sniff through his left nostril. He give up and lean right. Fucking shit, he said. He tried again, sniffing harder 2-3 times. Shit, I really need to shoot this up. Can't help you there. Pussy clot, still can't believe this bitch. Have a flight coming in only tomorrow night. Tomorrow fucking night. East Village and Bushwick ready. West Jersey in New York. What going happen tomorrow when there is no me? I don't know, Pops. Them go and kill half of this, you know. He's all out war between the Jamaicans and she over this. I told you. I don't think it's her. But she tell you about it. Is she you go and confirm this too? He's alright. Everything cool. Who the fuck bigger than Griselda? Must be bigger than Medellin too. Me is just a humble businessman. It's who me piss off so. Don't know why, but I go over to the window to see if anybody was standing by the curb. I need another gun. Then I remember. Almost forgot. She wasn't talking to me, but she said the guy lived in New York. Some shit about him neutralizing the Rankin Dons in Miami in exchange. What? Stone Posse don't have no problem with Rankin Dons in Miami? And clearly somebody does, and he lives in New York. And? Man who live in New York, who have it out for Rankin Dons, brethren, that is only me and... Shit. He looks at me, but his eyes go blank. You be. Me and you be. I was gonna say that his name sounded like Tuba. The Jamaican stares at me, his eyes wide open, spooked, like step and fetch it, but not funny. Not funny at all. His bottom lip hangs loose like he was about to say something, but couldn't. It twitches. His shoulders slump. He looks at me and bows his head. Fucking pussy hole want all of New York to himself. And Josie never going know. He never going know because this will look like a Rankin Dawn's hit. Sorry, man. I'll go back to the window. Yow, my youth, come here. What's up? If you go and take me out, at least make me go out pon the sky, no man. Man, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He points with his head at the bag of coke. I didn't work so hot the last time, remember? I say. That's why you go and help me shoot it up. What now? Shoot up? Injection? Sniffing is an idiot way to lick coke anyway. A pussy hole hit. Unless you have crack, which you should smoke, but me no have no rock in here. Dude, I ain't got time for what? You boyfriend outside or something? Fuck you. Fuck yourself and give a dead man his dying wish. Needle in the bathroom cabinet. Bathroom over by you. I know where the bathroom is, I say. A new needle. I open his cabinet and tear one from the wrapper. What am I supposed to do with this? I say, heading back to him. Just mix up some from the bag and suck it up with a syringe. Right, buddy. What am I supposed to use? Spit? Any water will do. You never do this before? Believe it or not everybody and his mother does coke. Just say no, eh? Good. You can just mix some in water. I can't believe I'm doing this. Just do it. Don't get fucking demanding on me, motherfucker. I grab the bag and walk over by the sink. Coffee cup okay? I say, and he nods. How much coke? Dude, you need to talk me through this. I had the tap on and the coffee cup. He looks my way and says, No, use the tablespoon. Suck up some water with the syringe, he says. Then press it into the tablespoon. Then add how much would be a line of coke. Then use your finger and stir it a little. It shouldn't take long since coke does all quicker than sugar. Then suck the whole thing back into the syringe. Where, buddy? I mean, your hands are kind of occupied. Batty, fuck you. Not like I could stop you. Haha, you don't need an arm, brethren. You could go between me toes, but that just hurt. Feel for my pulse in my neck, and just shoot. I touch his neck. You not going to feel much if you touch it like a pussy. I feel like gun-butting him, but grab his neck like I'm about to strangle it. His pulse pounds under my index finger. Just push in and press? Yeah, man. Okay, if you say so. I stick in and start the press. Blood pops up in the needle and I jump. Dude, blood, shit. No. Blood is a good thing, don't stop. Yeah. Yes. That's it, man, shit. What did they cut it with? B vitamin? Ha! No cut, me brethren. This is... Weeper's eyes change. Something running through him like a pinball hit the wrong sensor and tilt. Motherfucker starts to shake. Small like an electric jolt first, then harder and louder like he was having a fit. His eyes roll back white but don't come back. And foam pools at his mouth, running down his chest. Sounds push out his mouth like breaths. His head starts to shake so hard that I jump back. His crotch just explodes, piss. I grab him, wanting to shout, son of a bitch, you made me give you pure coke, but his eyes open wide open and scream. He pushes himself off the stool and we both fall backways. Weeper's kicking something awful, as if some monster's grabbing for his legs. I can smell his breath, all beer, stink, and ass, and something else. He's still jerking, choking, and hissing like "sss" is the only thing that could come out of his mouth. And me, I don't know why. I don't fucking know, but I grab him around the chest and clutch him, even though he was on top of me. I don't know why, but I was hugging and holding him and squeezing him, and He was just shaking, man, shaking and shaking some more with the back of his head bumping into my forehead. Foam bubbles popping out of his mouth. I grab his neck, but don't squeeze. Weeper wheezes 3 times, then quit.
Sir Arthur George Jennings. 4 priests cover their faces with lightning, speaking a liturgy nobody out in the congregation knows. Every disciple wrote a testament, but not every testament is in the Bible. A man says to a woman who does not understand, 10 metal seats down, 30 across, in the National Arena. The singer's funeral. Gospel and heresy go in a dogfight over the body. Rastaman chants from Corinthians, even though the elders told him to speak from Psalms, and all 10 sit while he calls a king God. Heresy. The Ethiopian archbishop says, "Why go to Africa when it would profit you more to work together for a better life in Jamaica?" The Rastafarians seethe and cuss. The archbishop came with weapons, too. Every Rastafarian wants to wake up in Shashamanaland, 500 acres of lands bestowed by a deposed emperor. Defiant Rastas shout, "Ya Rastafari," only a few asking, why is this an Ethiopian Orthodox funeral when the singer was Rasta? Hundreds sit, stand, and watch. The old prime minister, still beloved by the sufferers, sits still, hunched over in loss. The new prime minister sits until called up. He gives a eulogy for a man he barely knew, but closes with a benediction. May his soul find rest in the arms of Jah Rastafari. Gospel versus heresy. Heresy wins. How do you bury a man? Put him in the ground or stomp out his fire? They give the singer an honor on his deathbed, the Order of Merit. The black revolutionary joins the order of British squires and knights. Babylon in excelsis Deo. A fire that lights up Zimbabwe, Angola, Mozambique, and South Africa, doused out by 2 letters, O and M. Now he's one of us. But the singer is sly. In time, people will see that he prophesied over the very thing, singing of the false honor before it was even bestowed, before the sickness took him. I hear him sing in his sleep about Negro soldiers in America, black American soldiers of the 24th and 25th Infantry and the 9th and 10th Cavalry under the command of the Paleface to butcher Comanche, Kiowa, Sioux, Cheyenne, Ute, and Apache. 14 black men in dirty boots take the Medal of Honor for killing a people and an idea. The Indians called them Buffalo Soldiers. The Medal of Honor, the Order of Merit, the same sounds flipped. Meanwhile, I see the singer coming in and going out in the top right side of parcels and letters. I'm already out of time. All this time, the man who killed me still will not die. Instead, he rots. I watch him as his secretary touches his white scalp, teeming with veins like little blue snakes, and washes his thin hair in black dye. His new wife will not touch the stuff. It ruins her fingertips and blackens her nail polish. You sure you don't want it a little gray, Mr. P? Make it look young, but little more natural? Me want it black, you hear me? Me want it black. The PNP ran his party out of power, but he dresses every morning as if heading to work. Such a strange decade. It looks nothing like the 70s, and he's lost with nobody around speaking his language anymore. His party's thugs no longer want him, and the thinkers never needed him. So now he shouts out against communism and socialism, his jowls swinging like a rooster's. I watch him while he walks to the car, forgetting for the 3rd time this week he is no longer allowed to drive. He trips on the garden hose and falls hard on the concrete. The fall knocks the wind out of him, killing any hope of a scream, shout, or sob. He lies there for nearly an hour before the cooking woman sees him from the kitchen window. New hip, new pacemaker, new blue pills to fuck the wife who had gotten used to him flop on top of her, still like a slug. He laughs at death again. At me. I watch the man who visited him once at night. He's fatter too, and bigger. Too big for both to take up the same space. Flights to New York and Miami. Business bursting out of back pockets, 1,000 dead. Money comes out in the wash and buffets up the ghetto. In the ghettos abroad, people sniff, cook, boil, and inject. Colombia, Jamaica, Bahamas, Miami. It's an amazing scenario. We see murders everywhere. D.C., Detroit, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. Buy guns, sell powder. When building monsters, don't be surprised when they become monstrous. New riders, new posse, the likes of which they have never seen. In New York, the headline type is an inch thick. Jamaican got city hooked on crack. A juror listens to the ranking Dawn on trial, no friend of Josie Wales. Her first time in court. Me shot him in the head. Where in the head? Back. How many? One time. You only need one. What did you do with the body? Dump it in a gully. Then tell the driver to burn the car. What did you do when you learned he burned all the evidence, sir? Me didn't do nothing. I go to me bed. He looks at her as he says the last line. A juror, dressed like a school teacher, doesn't sleep for 3 days. 3 killers have outlived the singer. One dies in New York. One sees and waits in Kingston surrounded by money and cocaine, and one vanishes behind the Iron Curtain, where he sits knowing, waiting for the bullet to the head. Soon, 3 girls from Kashmir sling on bass, guitar, and drums, fresh faces, brimming out of burqas, propped up and held together by a backdrop of the singer streaked in red, green, and gold stripes, thick like pillars. They call themselves First Ray of Light, soul sisters to the singer smiling with the rising sun. Out of a rapt face comes a melody so fragile it almost vanishes in the air, but it lands on a drum that kicks the groove back up to where the song lingers, sweeps, and soothes. Now the singer is a balm to spread over broken countries. Soon, the men who kill girls issue a holy order, and boys all over the valley vow to clean their guns and stiffen their cocks, to hold down and take away. The singer is support, but he cannot shield, and the band breaks away. But in another city, another valley, another ghetto, another slum, another favela, another township, another intifada, another war, another birth, somebody is singing redemption song, as if the singer wrote it for no other reason but for this sufferer to sing, shout, whisper, weep, bawl, and scream, right here, right now. Sound Boy Killing, March 22nd, 1991.
1. You think he's napping? Me no response for that, boss. Huh? Okay, fine. Just point me to his cell. I pointed out 2 minutes ago. He's not like nobody else down here in the dungeon. Dungeon? That's kind of inappropriate. When you're done, see your way out. Not escorting me all the way? Don't like the dark. Footsteps echo as I walk, and all I can think about is I kind of wished I saw it myself. No kidding. They swooped down on that little motherfucker Griselda Blanco style. Such a wicked idea, perfected in Jamaica. Give it to the dearly disappeared bitch. If nothing else, she did leave us with one great invention. This is how it went down. With his dad Josie counting down the days until he was extradited to the US for murder, racketeering, obstructing justice, narcotics, etc., and so forth, it was up to his son, Benji Wales, all grown up, but fatter, darker, and more boring looking than his dad, to rule as the Don of Copenhagen City. Sort of like a regent or placeholder or something like that. So Benji was putting together the Papalo Memorial commemorative annual cricket match. Anyway, somehow this meant a meeting on King Street, which is east of West Kingston. It's always tricky business when a Don of the West heads east. Worse, heads off by himself on a bike. He gets to the intersection, probably just staring ahead, minding his own business, when this other bike pulls up right next to him. By the time he looked over to see who it was, 2 men in black opened fire, blasting his heart out of his chest. Funny, huh? The thing about Benji, yeah, his pops is Josie motherfucking Wales and he saw gunfire all the time, but he still traveled the world. Well, the States. Went to a posh school and never had to go to bed hungry a single day in his life. What do you get? A fucking gunman who's too used to the good life. He might as well be any fucking brat stepping out his pop's apartment in Central Park West. His father, who has brought this country to a standstill at least 3 times, is in prison about to finally get his ass handed back to him. And what does Golden Boy do? He goes off by himself on a fucking bike? What did he think? That every other gunman would be in church? And a Griselda-style killing doesn't just happen out of dumb luck. That shit was not just set up, but coordinated right down to that particular intersection. These young boys, they really don't think. I'm fucking old. I used to think old was the first time you bent over and grunted, when you straightened back up. Now old is running into enemies too old to fight, where all you got left from an old war is fucking nostalgia. And any kind of nostalgia is something to drink, not shoot over. Entry wound to head, chest, and exit wounds in head, neck, shoulder, and back. Last week I spoke to this Dr. Lopez, who was the doc on call in the ER that morning. "Bomberas glot," he says. "I never been so scared in all my life." And not just basic fear for himself, but fear like it was about to be Armageddon in the ER. By the time Benji Wales got to the hospital, the boy was pretty much a goner. All that was left was to call it. But Benji's body came with around 3,000 party crashers, all spilling in and out of the ER. All that was left was for the doctor to call the time of death, but because 3,000 people are outside expecting you to pull a Jesus because that's what doctors do for a Don, you go through the most ridiculous theater not named Kabuki. Dr. Lopez was telling me all this. They had to transfer him to a bed, which was already a waste of space. But by then, the crowd was shouting, "Bring back Benji," so loud you could hear them all the way down in the valley a mile away. First, they tried to restore the airway, which is what you're supposed to do to gain control of catastrophic hemorrhage. Except by the time they brought him in, there was nothing in his lungs but blood. Meanwhile, the crowd was getting louder and the doctors had to go through this fucking charade with a corpse. Imagine trying to restore circulation to a body that's just done with circulating. No pulse, no pressure, no level of consciousness whatsoever. It's not that he had stopped. He was fucking done. I asked him at what time they were going to tell the crowd he was just dead, and he said, "No lie, boss. By the time we started to resuscitate him, I was open for a miracle too." Outside, the crowd was pushing so hard, they broke 2 glass windows. The worst part was the defib. Every time they shocked Benji and his body jerked, the whole crowd jerked too. Even people outside who weren't even seeing it. Electric shock, body jerk, crowd jump. Electric shock, body jerk, crowd jump. Electric shock, body jerk, crowd jump. After 1 hour, Dr. Lopez finally called what should have been called from the minute they wheeled that body in. And then, whoa. Word then just circled through the crowd that they couldn't save him. Benji Wales was dead. They kicked down the ER doors first. 3,000 men, women, and children, most of them with guns, the rest with the kind of heart that doesn't need guns. "We the bumbleclot, we're going to kill the whole UNU. We're going to murder down this whole bumble-ass clot hospital. 50 doctor and nurse for killing Benji." Some men grabbed a nurse and started slapping her. Dr. Lopez said he jumped in, but 2 men grabbed him and gun-butted him in the head. They turned over the reception desk, and the poor security guards did the only thing they could do. They ran. The doc doesn't know how it happened, but just right then, a new wave just washed over the crowd, and they started shouting that it's not the doctors that killed Benji, it was the PNP. By Sunday night, they hit lane 6 of the 8 lanes. They shot every man in sight and raped every woman in reach. Burned down almost a third of the houses and shot some children to seal the deal. 2 days later, they fucking decimated lane 3. Then, they took the fight to Miami with drive-by shootings, bullet holes in Honda Accords, and nightclubs. 2 of my buddies said they barely made it out of the Rolex Club, the way the Jamaicans were shooting each other up. The Prime Minister had to reach out to the JLP to organize a truce, and even then they had to get the church to organize some peace marches. They only stopped when all this killing was getting in the way of Benji's funeral plans. I didn't go to the funeral. I'm not even supposed to be here officially. Okay, I lie. I did go to the funeral. But I think they might have mistaken me for a bodyguard or something. The last time I saw a funeral that big, it was the Singers. At least 20,000 people. There's the former Prime Minister, of course. Needless to say, he was opposition in 1976, then Prime Minister in 80, and now back to opposition in 91. First, a marching band, almost like in New Orleans, the men in white uniforms, the girls in red mini dresses and pom-poms. Then, coffin, black with silver handles with a dead boy in a black velvet suit. If you're never gonna sweat, why not go out in winter style? The coffin in a motherfucking white horse-driven glass hearse right up behind the marching band. Then, the former Prime Minister walking with Benji's queen woman in a skin-tight little black dress, thick gold chain like you see on those rap guys. Big earrings. As soon as you see her, you notice every other woman there. Gold lame mini dress, pink mini dress, white mini dress, fishnet stockings, silver high heels, bird as hats, hats as birds, more cargo chains. One girl had an open back dress that plunged right down into her ass crack. Every woman moving down the street like it was a catwalk. Josie tried to get leave, which is a weird way of saying it, to go to his son's funeral, but they wouldn't allow it. Why would they? Led the Don out of prison to 20,000 of his own people? How the hell would you get him back? U.S. government probably heard that idea and screamed 1,000 no's. Funny that for most of the 80s, when Josie built his empire, with major help, of course, they didn't give so much as a fuck about him. Fucking New York, man. I told him he shouldn't have done that shit. Black boys really gotta learn to control their fucking tempers. That day in 1985, Josie Wales shot out of nowhere to near the top of the DEA and the Feds list. And as soon as the JLP got kicked out of power, he became one hell of a sitting duck. But before all that, the bigger he got, the more untouchable he was. Josie is driving down some street, I can't remember which, but this is in a place called Denhamtown. Wales drives straight into a bus, comes out and he's mad, but the driver is just losing it and drawing a crowd. Don't know what he said, but he was just going off and shouting and threatening and God knows what. The only time he shut up was when some woman shouted, "He's Josie Wales!" and the whole street scatters, leaving the poor bus driver. Josie's not even looking at him when the man makes like Roadrunner, straight to the police station. Poor guy. About 30 minutes later, Josie Wales shows up at the police station with 10 of his boys. They walk right inside, grab the bus driver, and walk right out. Not a single cop even gets up. The man must have shat himself and bawled like a fucking girl when he saw the policemen looking the other way in their own fucking station. Right outside, with cops and people watching, those with guns shoot the bus driver, those without guns stab him. It was like crows upon fresh carcass. They arrested Josie, of course, but the prosecution just couldn't find any witnesses. Not a single one. Meanwhile, Callie is saying this motherfucker is a badass like no other badass has ever been fucking bad. Give him and his posse the UK. This was the man who went into Rima with his boys and killed 12, just like that. Why? Because some of the guys there started to complain that their little community was being neglected. Josie was always one for making his points clear. Police filed a warrant. Josie skips to the USA, but by now he's a person of interest, so he skips back to Jamaica. They take him to court, but the one witness, suddenly she's got amnesia. No, wait, she wasn't there. No, wait, it's a long time now. She hasn't changed her glasses prescription, so now she's blind as a bat. Really, she just can't remember and was so confused by the whole thing because gunshots were flying everywhere. But last year, his daughter was outside some club with her boyfriend and some 8 Lanes goons just sprang out of nowhere and opened fire on the two of them. They just Swiss cheesed the dude till he ran out of places to spring holes. Girl was cradling his body when they walked up right to her and shot her clean in the head. All I could think of was at least they didn't rape her first. I still wonder if they knew who she was. I mean, fact is, like with Griselda in Miami, if you keep pushing and pushing too far, sooner or later your enemies are going to push back. And if you keep making enemies, sooner or later they're going to reach critical mass. Only a matter of time before you make enemies as ruthless as you. After all, you're the one raising the bar. Me? I'm never in a place long enough to build a roll call of enemies. That shit is like any other relationship. You nurture it. That's why I never was one for Columbia or Kingston. I'm a facilitator. Speaking of critical mass, by now the feds had racked up multiple charges against Josie and they wanted him bad. Somebody had to win the war on drugs, and it sure as hell wasn't going to be a nigger from a Caribbean shithole who should have stuck to pot. This time, they got him in prison. And this time, he's going to rot. Yeah, I went to him in prison, and it wasn't visitors' hours either. As soon as I said, "Hey, Josie," he sat up on the bed and took a good while to look up. When he did, he was smiling, but a small one, almost like he was shy. And then he said, "I knew they would send you. How's things, mijo? Looking at you the better one, Dr. Love."
Two. Miss Agree. Miss Agree. Millicent Segree. Miss Segree. It's not Miss. Oh, I'm sorry. No problem, Mrs. Segree. It's not Mrs., it's not Miss, it's Millicent Segree. Okay, ma'am. You know what? Fine. How much is it? The entire prescription is $14, ma'am. You know, most of this feminism business was nothing more than white American women telling non-white women what to do and how to do it. With this patronizing, if you become just like me, you'll be free bullshit. But if there's one thing I agree with, is damn. I hate when a man feels I'm obligated to disclose my marital status to somebody I don't even know. Even this bullshit about status itself, as if married and spinster are the only two choices for defining myself. Or because I'm a woman, I'm supposed to have a status at all. Hey, big boy, here's my status. Hi, before I tell you my name, here's my status. Maybe I should just say I'm a lesbian and throw the problem back in their faces for them to define it. Xanax for anxiety, Valium for sleep, Prozac for depression, Phenergan for nausea, Tylenol for headaches, Mylanta for bloating, Midol for cramps. I mean, Jesus Christ. Menopause? Come already. Isn't there some fast track for a hot flash? It's not like I'm ever going to breed, so I keep the damn store door open. I'm at the Rite Aid on Eastchester in the Bronx, just a block from my place on Corsa Avenue. August means I'll be living there 2 years. Of course, despite working at Beth Israel, which, it goes without saying, has a pharmacy, I fulfill prescriptions on Eastchester. Because who wants to see a nurse buying so many pills? Yeah, things are confidential, but I've never come across anybody who, if given the chance, wouldn't take your business. This just makes things less complicated, and in the past few years, I've just gotten allergic to complicated things. Even men. You can't stand a man who's the same yesterday, today, and forever? Give him my number. It's always when they start to talk about their feelings and, I love this one, where is this going? That I get so sick I have to reach for the Phenergan. So, I cross the street to the bus stop and pop one. Zantac. I'm going to need a Zantac after wolfing down a muffin for breakfast. I wish Dunkin' Donuts wasn't all the way on Gun Hill Road. I could use some coffee. But I can't stand Gun Hill Road, especially on these wet days when winter can't decide to leave and spring can't decide to show up. And I'm not ruining one more shoe while they figure it out. Outside the station is always the same old men with nowhere to go. And I can't tell if they're looking at me as men or as Jamaicans. To make it from street to door to turnstile to train would be hard enough if I didn't have to stand there and pigeon shit waiting on the 5. And it never fails. Nobody waiting on the train looking like they have anywhere to go. No shopping bag, no knapsack, no briefcase, nobody carrying anything. Me looking like Miss Virgin Mary because I'm going to the hospital. Not a nurse, training to be one. The school director looked at me and said, "We don't always get women at your point in life. Usually they're just starting out." Who's to say I'm not just beginning life right now? I said to the man, who clearly not buying it, but for some reason didn't feel like telling a woman she was too old. Every day I go to work, I try to figure that one out. But then, Lord knows I know everything about knowing people only in the context of them needing something from me. Millicent, it's too early in the morning to be so bitter. You actually like the white stockings and no sex here shoes, remember? Meanwhile, at Beth Israel, you're in triage and find that you like it very much. But 2 weeks ago, for like 7 days, Jamaicans kept coming in with all sorts of gunshot wounds. All of them men. 4 of them. By the time they got here, there was nothing to do. Girlfriends and baby mothers screaming out, "Boy, what me I go do with the picnic them?" As if I knew the answer. Me? I'm putting on an extra thick American accent and saying shit like water instead of water, because I don't want anybody to figure out I'm Jamaican. Which is just fuckery, because so far I did like that. The hospital thought I was their own Madge Sinclair from Trapper John MD. One of the doctors even called me Ernie once. And even though I said, "My name is Millicent, doctor," I couldn't stop grinning. But it was just weird. These Jamaicans with gunshot wounds coming from the Bronx, which is not exactly near this hospital. I didn't ask what was going on this week, but the doctor did. And one of the men with 3 bullets in his backside says, "Them kill young Benji. Is Armageddon now. Kingston, Miami, New York, London. Them kill young Benji." Who is this Benji, and how did he die? The doctor asks. I'm there squeezing the IV bag in my hand so hard it almost bursts. Nurse? The doctor says. I hook it up to the man's arms without looking at him. I didn't want him to give me the eye of recognition. I'm not no kindred spirit. Who's this Benji? The doctor asks again. And I want to say shut the fuck up, but all I can do is start an IV. Thank God when I finally look at the man, he was giving the doctor this stare. Eyebrow raised and indignant, like he's thinking, what you mean, who's Benji? I certainly didn't want to know. Benji Wales, the son of the Don of Dons, the man says. The doctor's face didn't change much, but I had to look away. I just stopped. I don't know, something just went black and I walked away. I could even hear the doctor saying, Nurse! Nurse! But it was like some transistor radio from far off. I just kept walking and walking until I was in the elevator. Spent the next hour in the cafeteria on the ground floor. Told them I was suddenly dizzy and had to tolerate at least 3 asking me if I was pregnant. I was this close to saying, how about me chopping off my pussy and putting it on my forehead? I had to tell him I had a crippling migraine and was botching finding a vein for the IV. I have this system. It's really only 3 words. No more drama. Got it from Black American women who were sick and tired of men and all their shit. I don't want any fuss, cascas, conflict, disagreement, or entanglement. I don't even want drama on TV. Ever since the Jamaicans brought their party to the hospital, I had to add Tylenol to my list and up the Xanax just so I could go to work. Wales. It's just a name. It's just a goddamn name. Like Millicent Segree. Waiting on the M10 Express. Ever since then, I've had this headache right above my right temple. It never gets better or worse, but just won't go away. Maybe it's a lump. Maybe I need to stop training myself to become a hypochondriac. Honestly, only 2 days ago I got so anxious I couldn't breathe and remember that people have been known to die from anxiety attacks. Of course, this only made me more anxious. The last time it happened, I had to start singing Just Got Paid out loud for it to pass. At a bus stop in Manhattan. I think a little girl started singing with me. A little black girl is running around the bench at this bus stop. Another is sitting in her father's lap. He's on the bench waiting on the bus. The little girl running is singing something that sounds like, I know what boys like. But there was no way she would have heard that song. The father is trying to balance the daughter, a baby really, and his newspaper. The little girl runs headfirst into his ribcage, and he grunts and laughs. She pushes her bagel into his mouth, and he takes a bite like a bear. She squeals. I try to look away, but can't. Not until they look at me first. Girls who love their daddies always come at them sideways. I see it all the time in the hospital. Daddies carrying sick baby girls with poor breathing or insect bites. Women supporting sick fathers for just one more MRI or dose of chemo. Maybe fathers are just more narrow on the side. Yesterday, a teenage girl in the ER, after screaming at her father for 10 minutes, just came at him sideways, wrapped her hands all around him until her fingers met, and rested her head right in his armpit for him to drape her. It's not like I miss my father. I don't even know if he's dead, but I'm starting to miss not taking Xanax. I'm waiting at the bus stop with the father and his 2 daughters. He's just laughing, mumbling, uh-huhing, and yes, sweetying. Still can't tell if he's Jamaican. One just makes assumptions about anywhere between Gun Hill and Boston Road. They don't even notice he's giving them the daddy gaze. This man in the hospital said to me, "You just didn't know you could love anybody or anything that much. It frightens you all the time. Every time you hear some kid got hit by a bus." The daddy gaze. I wonder when they lose it. I never hear anything good. Stopped your news. I don't even want to know what's going on in Jamaica. But if it's spilling into Bronx and Manhattan, then the news can't be good. Jamaicans here never tell me anything I want to hear, so I don't talk to Jamaicans. I never miss the country, not even once. I hate nostalgia. Nostalgia is not memory, and my memory is too damn good for it. The thing is, if all of this is true, then why the rasclat am I in Jamaican Bronx? Corsa, Fenton, Boston, Jervan? You might as well call the whole place Kingston 21. On Corsa, I'm the lonely woman in the house on the corner. The person who is going to die, rot and sprout poppies before anyone even wonders whatever happened to her. The witch at the end of the street. The Boo Radley. Who the ras am I kidding? They probably think I'm just a Christian lady who never have no boyfriend. I'm the stuck-up stoosh nurse who always wears white stockings and sensible shoes, who always leaves and returns to her house in uniform so that nobody will know her in any other context, and who don't talk to nobody. I wonder if anybody ever sees me go out at night. I like to think I don't give a shit about what people think, but then I always leave through the back door. I just hope no more Jamaicans with gunshot wounds show up at the hospital. I just hope... You know something, Millicent Segree? Nothing good ever comes from you taking your thoughts down that way. Even thinking about thinking them just makes the headache beat down the side of my head even more. No more damn thinking. Last week, a white college boy heard my accent and asked if I ever met the singer. And it hit me. I'm one of the few who can answer the question with a yes, but it still pissed me off. Then he started to sing the song with the birds, and for a while I could bear it, until it made me think about dead years. Shit. Thinking about remembering dead years always makes me remember dead years for real, and fuck all that. Fuck the dead. I'm still living. The bus is here. I'm still living.
Three. Nah, this is the C. The A doesn't make stops until 125th. Ah. The man steps back from the doorway as if he saw somebody in the train he didn't want to run into. I watch the door closing him out and sit back down as the train starts to move. New Yorkers, the Uptown train has been lying to you. This is what you do. You take the C from 163rd to 145th Street to jump on the express because you're in a fucking hurry and this is Uptown and there's always delays or some drama. I mean, only last week when I was rushing to JFK to catch a flight back to Minnesota because Mom wasn't doing so hot, a man pulled down his pants and started to shit on the train. He just squatted and dumped, yelling the whole time like he was giving birth. Of course, he did this the second the train pulled out of Fulton, which meant it would be forever before it reached High Street all the way in Brooklyn. 6 or 7 of us, I don't know how many, rushed to the door, only to see that it was the one door that didn't open for transfer to the next car. I'm there thinking, begging, please don't start throwing your shit. Please, please don't. When the train finally pulled into High Street, we all tumbled out and ran. But that's not my point. My point was, you take the C to 145th, and then switch to the A because it's the express. But the A is fucking slower than the C. Come at, say, West 4th Street, and wait a minute or two, and there's the same damn C train you jumped off at 145th. So now, I just stick on the C and try to read. That's not true. I stay on the C train to check out people reading the New Yorker. I wonder if they're reading it. An Irish novelist friend of mine told me how once on the train, he saw someone reading his book. He asked her, "Is it any good?" And she said, "Some of it, but other times it's a slog." For some reason, it made his day. And that she didn't even recognize him. So yeah, sometimes I'm on the sea looking for that woman. And it's almost always a woman reading the New Yorker, and hope I can sit beside them and wait for them to turn to it. I can say, "Holy shit, this is like the movies. I mean, this never happens in real life, right?" And she'll say, "What happens?" And I'll say, "That a writer happens to be on the train to see somebody actually reading his stuff." In this version of the story, she will also be cute, hopefully black, and if not single, then certainly not beholden to a concept as passé as monogamy. Who am I kidding? With all the free love bullshit I spout, I'm the one who sounds old hat. Thanks to Republicans and AIDS, everybody is marrying now. Even gay guys are thinking about it. But one guy's riding the sea, and he's some kid in torn-off sweatpants and long johns underneath. Leather jacket, but I can't see much else because he's reading Rolling Stone, with what looks like Axl Rose on the cover. Guns N' Roses supposedly saved rock and roll a few years ago, or at least that's what anybody who works at Rolling Stone will tell you. I say, if this is true, then why am I hearing shitty dance pop from faggy limeys on the radio all the time? A fucking band named Jesus Jones. Christ. And please, for God's sake, don't play that Black Crowes album again. I heard it the first time when it was called Sticky Fingers. God, maybe the reason why the cab's so empty is that everybody can sense I have grown into such a belligerent motherfucker. It's the weird time after rush hour, but before lunch, where you can ride an empty car in broad daylight. Cabs covered in new graffiti on the windows, seats, even the floor. The new one's looking sharp and sci-fi with letters. I think they are letters that look like molten metal. That and posters for Tang, non-invasive cure for bunions, and fucking Miss Saigon. Shit. I wish I had a New Yorker. Or anything for that matter. Rushed out of the office because I realized I was close to deadline and preferred working from home when under pressure. I handed in part 4 yesterday. 4 of 7. Yeah, a part of me hopes people still read the New Yorker, or at least pay attention to it the way they did for the Janet Malcolm thing on Jeffrey McDonald and Joe McGinnis only a few months ago. Not that I'm working on anything so heavy. And besides, who the fuck gives a damn about the singer or Jamaica now, other than frat boys? You, Alex Pierce, are what the kids today call a relic. And it's only March. I get off at 163rd, climb up the steps, hoping the guy who tried to bum a cigarette off me isn't there for another one. Shit, why buy a pack when he can score 1 or 2 from me every day? The further I step away from Seatown, the more it hits deep that there's nothing good in my fridge. I'm going home to no food, which will only piss me the fuck off, and I'll put this coat back on to walk right back to the Seatown I'm walking away from right now. But fuck it. I'm on 160th already. It's March, it's still fucking cold, and you can't even give these fucking homes away. The brownstone I bought didn't need any work, and yet the owner was itching so bad to get out, I became convinced something was seriously wrong with it. That only made him drop the price more. He tried to sell me on some shit about Louis Armstrong living there. Only 3 minutes later, he said Cab Calloway. Whatever. I like the neighborhood that people were trying to get away from, though, if you asked me, people are probably skipping because they hate how this part of Washington Heights, pardon me, historic Harlem, had been going to shit since the late 70s. Brief 80s fake boom to real bust notwithstanding. What I'm trying to say is this street, especially at this time of day, is usually pretty empty. So, why are there 4 black guys, all dressed like they just walked out of a rap video, sitting on my stoop? I couldn't turn back because they had already seen me. If I played it like a scared white guy, they would call me out in a second, or smell the fear and chase that shit. Fuck me. One of them, with dreadlocks and fucking pigtails, stands up and looks me over. I'm just 20 feet from my own house and 4 black guys are on the steps. Two of them just shared a loud joke. I make one little step back and feel like an idiot. They are just black guys sitting on my steps. It could have been anybody's steps, and look, fucker, they could be your neighbors, and it's your fault you don't know any of them. I tap my ass as if I'm reaching for a wallet that isn't there and try to fake an, oh shit, I forgot my wallet look. But Pigtails is still staring at me, glaring even. But that might be me imagining things. I can't just stand there. Maybe I can walk right past and go to the cafe around the corner, wait them out for a few minutes. Though they look like they've got nowhere to go. Fuck! I can't just stand here. I mean, this is New York City and black boys know better than to jump unsuspecting white guys post Bernie Getz, right? Except that was a good while ago. When I get to the steps, my door is wide open. Pigtails shifts to the side and points my way in as if it's his house. I pause, hoping the police car that circles when it feels like it creeps up soon. Pigtails beckons me again, this time with a flourish like he's Jeeves, and I make one step. The other men stare at me. One in a gray hoodie hiding his face, one wearing what looks like stockings on his head, and one with his hair plaited like Jamaicans do before they pull it out into an afro. Pants so low the crotches are all at the knee, and all of them in tan Timberlands. If they're packing, they clearly don't think I'm worth showing it. I don't want Pigtails to direct me to my own house for a third time, so I step up. I could barely move. Jesus Christ. Only last week a friend of mine who used to sell coke to Fleetwood Mac said he got out of the business because the fucking Jamaicans were taking over, and they didn't give a shit who and how many they killed. Brethren, me say no so it go, somebody says outside in a Jamaican accent. This feels like the point where I make a joke about Jamaican mothers teaching them to keep a place clean, but there's nobody to share it with. I walk down my hallway like it's somebody else's, and the floorboards creak and give me away. Pass my own staircase to the second floor and listen for people upstairs. Somebody, or bodies, are making a fuss in the kitchen. A tall black man in a wife-beater and khaki overalls with one strap hanging off is blending yellow juice in what's supposed to be my blender. The other guy walks into my view like somebody yelled action over the noise. He starts talking to me as he sits on the stool by the sink. Black man as well, haircut low, and slightly chubby but taller than wife-beater dude. Wearing a royal blue silk suit with a white pocket square like a dying flower popping out of his heart. I don't know this guy. I don't know any of them. I don't think I've ever seen shoes so shiny. Dark red, too, almost black in parts. I look up and can tell he's noticed me admiring them. Giorgio Brutini. I want to ask if that's the B-movie version of Giorgio Armani, but then I remembered irony is not always the wisest card to play with a Jamaican. Oh, I say. So here is. This man you see here, Rendog. He think me contract him because he good pon the trigger. But me really have him round, because nobody can make a juice like this man right here, Jano. Sure, man, boss. Mine may have go to cooking school now. You better take a night class, haha. Silk suit guy holds up one finger to cut off what I was going to say. But I wasn't going to say a thing. He picks up a glass and drinks the whole thing down in 5 loud gulps. Mango, he say. What kind? Wife beater says. Julian. Hold on. Me know it. East Indian. Jano, boss. You must say cake or something. Or me is just a country youth who know him mango. Pour out some for the white boy. I'm really not thirsty. Me ask if you thirsty. The smile up and vanishes just like that. I swear this is something I've only seen Jamaicans do, and they can all do it. A sudden change of face that just runs cold. Eyebrow in a frown, but eyes dead steady. It can make a 10-year-old kid frightening. I guess I could drink something. Good to hear, my youth. And you're welcome for all the milk and yogurt and fresh fruit in your fridge. Taras Clot Wren Dog opened the bread a fridge, and little most me think you is a serial killer with a body up in there. True thing, boss. He's a wonder rat don't bore a hole into the fridge bottom yet, wife beater says. You know you did have milk in there from January. Was trying to make my own yogurt. The man is a comedian, boss. Ha ha, it sounds so. Or maybe he just a joke. Anyway, brethren, come over here so me can take one good look pon ya. I take the stool. I can't tell if looking him in the eye would impress or annoy him. Then he starts walking around me like I'm some sort of exhibit. I almost say this museum's closed. I almost do. I don't know why I think joking would bring any sort of levity to a situation, because it never fucking does. Ever. Wren Dog, me ever tell you about a man named Tony Pavarotti? You never tell me, but me know about him. Which you didn't know about Tony Pavarotti when him a grow up? Yow is near 15 years me a look for you. You know that? It takes me a good 3 seconds to realize he was talking to me. But you be? Why you bring up Pavarotti? Him the dead from 77, 78? 79. 1979. Wren, meet the man who killed him.
This ends Disc 20.